Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I know that the impact you all have on Penn State far reaches the impact that you'll have in this room today, but I thank you for the commitment you're making today and every day for our Penn State community. Our team has worked extremely hard to give you an amazing conference today, and there's no one better to kick it off than the president of the Commonwealth Campus Student Government, Zachary Taylor. Please join me in welcoming Zach.
Good morning, Penn Staters. I'd like to draw your attention to the screen real quick, just to see the title of my presentation. The theme for today is the freedom to roar. So I thought it was only fitting for me to talk about the cost of freedom a little bit, a term you may be familiar with. My name is Zach Taylor. I am the president of the Council of Commonwealth Student Governments here at Penn State. We have 99,000 students here at Penn State, so we have to break that constituency into about 3 groups. Our group of student government represents all of the students at our Commonwealth campuses that are undergraduates. It's about 30,000 students. I'm a SMEAL finance major, and this summer I'll be interning at Amazon as a financial analyst. And today I have the opportunity to tell you guys a little bit about the rising costs of higher education and how we need to be tackling that. Now, this is not news to anybody, but higher education is increasing at a rate, by most measurements, about 3 times quicker, if not more, than normal inflation. Reasons for this vary. A lot of people say that, it may be because of institutions competing with each other, large competition between trying to get the same students. Students that have the same GPAs and the same SAT scores are applying to the same schools, but they're only going to choose one. And those tuition dollars are only going into one university. So it's becoming more and more competitive for those universities to get the same exact students. More importantly, how are students paying for that? The way that they're paying for it is through debt. Student loans are one of the largest ways that students are paying for college these days. We're seeing a debt market that's increased in the billions of dollars over the past couple decades. We've seen federal programs coming out so that students have high access to loans now. Very low interest rate loans, so it's not very difficult for a student to get loans from the federal government if they have no credit. And if they have credit, it's very easy to get it from a private lender. Additionally, a lot of people have family support, trust funds, financial contributions from grandparents, parents, uncles, aunts, everything like that. And additionally, we have students who are paying for this through part-time jobs, people that are really working their way through. But institutions, as we see, are increasing their tuition left over right, hand over fist. Fees are going up. The cost of living is going up. We've seen housing costs increase across the country for students. But again, the ways that they're paying for it has not changed. And meanwhile, average family income has stayed relatively stagnant and seen modest growth with inflation. So as family income stays the same, but the cost of higher education increases, who are the people who can actually afford that income? Who are the people that can afford to send their children to college for $26,000 a year, let alone out of state for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and at a lot of institutions, $65,000 a year? I can't afford that, and most people can't either. So let's introduce you to the economic reality that universities face when looking at giving out student aid. If I'm a university and I have $100,000 to give out in student aid, I have 2 options. This is, of course, an oversimplification, but it makes sense. I can either give that full $100,000 to one low-income student, probably has the same, if not higher qualifications than the other students in the mid to high-income brackets, but he has a high level of financial need. So I'm going to pay his entire tuition with $100,000, and I am going to get $0 from that student. My second option is to use that same $100,000 and give it to 5 mid to high income students, giving them $20,000 apiece, and then getting the additional $80,000 in tuition from each one of them, netting me $300,000. This is the economic reality that every single university faces when it comes to making decisions of who to give financial aid to. And the economic reality is that no one is going to choose this option. It makes no sense. Despite being a not-for-profit organization, a public institution, or an institution whose mission is to create higher education and better the world or better their institution, better the alumni, whatever their mission is, even if it's to make money, they're never going to choose this option. But what does that mean for low-income students? How are they supposed to get access to this higher education? People choose to go to college and university for very obvious reasons. Families will take on a second job, refinance their home, completely move to a different place in order to send their children to college because the numbers do not lie. If you have a bachelor's degree, your income will probably be about $1 million. Your lifetime income will be over $1 million more if you didn't have that degree. If you have a master's degree, the number's even higher. If you have a doctorate, again, even higher. So the numbers don't lie. This is how people propel their families forward. Generations to come, your children, their children's children, when you add higher education to that mix, it is very obvious that the statistics support your family will move up in the socioeconomic bracket. So the way that this breaks down for students and for these groups of people that are applying to college, which those numbers are now going up and up and up, again, more families are trying to get their children to go to universities that are rising their costs at about 13% per year. Those who can afford college have access to a trust fund, have access to debt, have access to family contributions and scholarships and resources that they know about because they're in that higher income bracket. Their parents have gone to college. And even if they have not, they have parents who have an income and a credit score that can guarantee their loans. This is group number one of those who are applying to college. And believe it or not, there's only two groups. Those who really know, I am going to college no matter what. And those who don't know that. Those who have no idea how they're going to pay for university. Those who say, I don't have a trust fund. I don't have parents with any credit. Matter of fact, I may not have parents at all. Matter of fact, I may have a single parent who does not have the income or the credit score to even sign off on my loans if I wanted them to. So if you're one of these students who doesn't have access to funds and doesn't have access to debt, aside from federal aid, how are you supposed to pay your way through a university whose costs are increasing at an exponential rate? The truth is, it's impossible. And this is what we're seeing more and more, is higher education getting restricted to the wealthy. And it's not someone's fault for being wealthy that they can afford university. It's not a student's fault for saying, I'm sorry, my family has money, I shouldn't have to go to college. Nor is it the fault of the low-income student, I'm sorry, my family doesn't have money, can I still come? The problem lies in the inequality of the system. When we think about why do these low-income individuals want to move up, why do they want to go to university, it's because they'll be able to better their generations beyond them. And these two students who are applying, one who has access to finances, one who does not, they have the exact same credentials. We're seeing this across the board. People with the exact same credentials, people with higher credentials in the low-income areas are getting denied from these universities for that exact economic problem that I just described. There's no way a university is going to decide to give all of their aid money away to low-income students who are not going to bring anything back into them. So as you go through today, I ask that you think about this economic issue and think about more creative ways that we can solve this. I myself, because I'm president of CCSG, I get the opportunity to operate with the Board of Trustees here at Penn State. I get the privilege to talk to President Barron, Provost Jones, a lot of high-level administrators, and these are issues that we're fighting for. But the truth is that donor contributions and government aid and state funding and all of the money we get in tuition is never going to eclipse the amount of students who fit into this second category. Income inequality is not going anywhere. Higher education is also not going anywhere. However, we are the ones who get to decide if higher education will continue on a pathway that is going to restrict higher education to the wealthy, or if we decide to take a different pathway, be more creative about how we're dishing out scholarships, about how we're giving aid to students, about how we are billing people based on income. These are all ideas that have been brought up and models that have been toyed around with at various universities. But again, today when we think about the freedom to roar and think about your own college experience, I think about mine and think back to parents who don't give me contributions. My parents gave me $0 for university. They don't send me money. I didn't have any trust funds or anything like that. The only way I was able to pay my way through school was through debt. My first semester, I had to take on $26,000 of debt. My second semester, I had gotten a few scholarships. I only had to take on $17,000. By my junior year, I didn't have to pay anything for college because I had earned a scholarships every single semester. I had worked extremely diligently to make sure that I wasn't going to have $100,000 in student debt like so many individuals that I know. I didn't want to be strapped down with that economic burden. If you go to university, but you exit with more debt than you will ever earn, that will take you 30 plus years to pay off, what is the value of your degree? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. I think about the university's opportunities that it's given me. CCSG president, there's not a single internship that I won't get an interview for. Amazon, I'm now working with them as a financial analyst this summer. I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity as a finance student. Every opportunity that I have gotten is from this university, and it's all because of the tuition I've paid. Some students simply will never get the opportunity to do this simply because they don't have access to the income. Think about that. Think about your privilege. Think about the students who want to be where you are, that have the same credentials, but were born into a different family. That's what I ask you to think about today. Thank you. Yeah.